Your self-tapes don't need to be stressful forever. My self-tapes used to stress me out so much that my self-tapes ended up looking stiff, so my acting was flat. So today I want to share with you the habits that I've developed over the years and the mindset that I have now that changed the way I experience self-tapes. And there's one little change that I made that made me calmer, made my self-taping faster, made me excited to get up and be creative in my self-tapes. But first we need to start at the foundation, and this is going to make everything else go smoothly. I realized that one of the most stressful parts was figuring out what light I was going to use, where I was going to put my tripod, what background. And by setting up a specific self-tape setup where everything is in the same place every time, it eliminated like half of the decisions that I needed to make. Even if you don't have a whole office to dedicate to your self-tapes, you can still figure out what your routine is, like where you're going to set them up and where you're going to store them. I used to self-tape in my bedroom, so I would put everything for my self-tapes under my bed every time I self-tape so I could still have a full bedroom. Once I knew what my self-tape setup was, I realized I had no idea how long these self-tapes actually took me. So for your next 10 self-tape auditions that you do, just write down details about how long it takes you to set up, break down, memorize the lines, find a reader, edit it, send it in, like every single detail. How long does it take you? Analyze that so that you can plan ahead and not end up having to turn in an audition like 5 minutes before it's due and just watching it upload. That also introduces another question. How do you keep yourself from taking too long and getting into like a loop of perfectionism? I want to take a quick pause from the vlog because this portion of the vlog is sponsored by BraveMaker, which is a nonprofit film organization that I have 100% told you about before because I'm part of this community. I've taken their acting classes. I've been on their podcast before. BraveMaker.org. You can go check them out. Has a film festival every year. They have Monday morning mastermind sessions where you can get amazing connections, monthly meetups in LA and San Francisco, and events throughout the year where they really champion filmmakers and the stories that they tell. Their motto is brave stories change the world and you are the story. It's really important to remember that if you have a passion for acting or storytelling, filmmaking, whatever, you can make your own films and you don't have to be a millionaire in order to do that. You really just have to find a community like BraveMaker, find your crew and make those films. And that's the reason why I'm one of the monthly donors to BraveMaker. Even a small monthly donation really makes a huge difference. I donate a little bit every month, and then whenever I can, I will donate even more. So please consider donating. You can go to bravemaker.org. And just today, if you donate today, one of my friends heard that they were sponsoring the video and have agreed to match up to $100. So if you donate today, send me a screenshot of your donation and we will match it. Thanks so much, BraveMaker. How do you keep yourself from taking too long and getting into like a loop of perfectionism? By setting yourself a time limit. Maybe you get off book and then you rehearse for like 30 minutes to an hour, and not to make it perfect. Just rehearse until it feels good, because especially if you're newer to acting and you don't have a lot of acting training or acting classes, you haven't really found your style. So you can't really like feel when it's enough yet. And then set a limit to how many takes you want to tape after you've rehearsed enough, because you'll end up doing 20 takes and then you're going to have to watch those all back when you're editing, and that's gonna take hours. And perfectionism isn't really like, it's not really attainable. I don't know if anybody thinks that their audition is ever perfect. And I think you should make mistakes during these self-tapes because you learn a lot from making the mistakes and watching them back. So try and watch them back maybe 1 or 2 days later. And then again, maybe at the end of the year, you watch them all back and see how you could start improving. Like maybe it's something you wore or how you said things, or you look over rehearsed. You will learn throughout time. But then that makes me think, how do I put myself in a happy, energetic mindset to film these auditions so it all goes well? especially after a long day of doing a day job or something else. When we feel so exhausted, it's really important to figure out what is going to get you up and doing these self-tapes and getting energetic and excited, because most of the self-tapes I've been doing lately, like 90% of them have been commercial. So I do usually need to be upbeat, energetic, excited. So you can do different things like make coffee right before, treat yourself. I like to go on a 15-minute walk or call my mom really quick and be like, I'm about to do a self-tape. Can we chat about like a funny memory or something like that? Dancing while setting up, like just blasting music while you set up your gear. That's another really good one. Your energy shows up so much in your self-tapes. I've watched some self-tapes about when my mental health was really bad, and I'm like, wow, my eyes are just like, you can see that my eyes are just so sad. Think about that. Your energy is going to show up in your self-tapes. How can you change your mindset so that you aren't so stressed out when you are filming these, thinking, oh my gosh, I want to make this perfect, thinking I really, really want to book this job? Like, how do you change your mindset to stop thinking about the auditions, as like, I'm going to book it or I'm not going to book it? Oh my gosh, how do I book it? I have to lie to myself a little bit. When I get callbacks, I get really nervous. And so I have started to pretend that the director already wants to book me and this is a rehearsal. This callback is a rehearsal. I just have to do what I did before and bring a few new options just to play around. And so suddenly it feels like I already booked it. So mindset definitely helps, but being prepared and practicing, I think, will be the solution to a lot of your stress. And one is having a list of like 5 people that you are a reader for and they also are a reader for you, and start practicing your self-tapes all of the time, instead of it being a thing like, oh my gosh, I got a self-tape. Oh yes, this is how I do it. That's how I do it. Try and do at least one self-tape every week and just practice it. When I discovered this, I think it was from doing my slate every day for like a week. And then all of a sudden, when I was doing my slates, I was no longer getting trapped in the cycle of saying my name again and again and again, where it's just started to sound like a sound and no longer my name. You know, when you're like, hi, my name is Belgica, and you're like, why did I say it like that? Practicing your self-tapes will just make everything feel like more normal, like muscle memory. So now that I've done self-tapes for maybe like 7 or 8 years, they feel so much more like filmmaking. Like I get to come into my office and make a little short film and send it off, and it just feels so fun and peaceful, and I hope that is for you as well. If you enjoyed any part of this video or have any more questions, please let me know in the comments or tell me what you do to make yours more fun and less stressful. I have a bunch of videos right here about my self-tape setup and how I do my self-tapes and those difficult full body shots, so check that out. Thank you so much to BraveMaker for sponsoring this video, and if you have any questions about BraveMaker, please leave a comment, DM me, and I will send you links to some fun events.